Sip the truth, spit the hype, light the fuse and make it toast. We're calling out the nonsense on the health hype roast. Roast it, toast it, if it's rubbish we expose it. Gut gang riding, booch bottles coasting. Welcome to the health hype roast, kid, where your wellness gets slow cooked in motion.
Hello and welcome back to the Health Hype Roast. Today we're diving into a wellness trend that is absolutely exploding across social media. If you've scrolled through your feed lately, you've probably seen people loading up massive bowls of, and I will pronounce this wrong, chia pudding, throwing psyllium husk into literally everything and participating in a crazy daily challenges. It's called Fibre Maxing, and some influencers are even calling it natural Ozempic, because of how it supposedly hacks your digestion and stops cravings. So the marketing behind this is massive, and it's shaping up to be one of the biggest food ingredient trends going. But before you go out and start dumping massive doses of fibre supplements into your morning smoothie, we need to look and find out if it's actually legit. And as always, I'm joined by my co-host, clinical nutritionist, James Ellis. There we go. And we have two guests as well. We're joined by Mr. Mark Walsh.
Hello.
And Steph surname?
Wilson.
Steph Wilson.
Steph Wilson.
Steph Wilson. There we go. We knew her as Steph, but then I thought, I don't know your surname. And we're joined by Steph Wilson. And just before we came on, to start recording the podcast, Steph was telling us about how you used to be an ultra runner. Gut health's quite important to you. You actually get a lot of fibre, so you're really into all this. Mark is here because he's at the start of this journey of improving gut health. And the thing that we do with the Health Hype Roast is we take a look at what's trending, and then we get James to tell us whether or not it's legit or it's just a lot of hype. So, James, the internet is telling us to max out our fibre intake to fix our health. So, we're going to break down what is actually going on here. So, straight off the bat, what is fibre maxing?
So, unlike a lot of things we've talked about in the past, there's actually some relative use to fibre maxing, in that fibre is really important for our diets, right? And the thing is that most of us chronically undereat fibre. I mean, like huge differences to what we should be eating. And then that's a challenge. Where the challenge is with fibre maxing is, you're absolutely right, is that it's been picked up on by sort of influencers, people on Instagram, TikTok, etc., who are talking about trying to almost get to a race to who can get the most fibre in. And in reality, you know, there is some benefits to that, to adding more fibre to your diet. When you get up to 50, 60 grams of fibre a day, that may be too much for many people. What the challenge for me is that it's kind of become like fibre top trumps a little bit. You know, I'm going to get 50 in. Oh, I'm going to try and get 55 in. I'm going to try and get 60 in. And really, you shouldn't see your health like that. And the challenge is that the internet makes everything an absolute one way or another. So you're either, yes, I've got to max on fibre, or I'm not going to max on fibre. And so I don't like that race to the top, if you like, about just trying to get more and more and more in. You know, what actually works for you on an individual level, rather than just trying to match all these people who are just hyping maximum fibre on the internet.
It's crazy, because what you've just said there sounds like, do you know when you hear school kids getting caught up in TikTok crazes?
Yeah.
It's like fibre maxing sounds like that, but we're adults. It's like we've lost our mind.
And isn't that just about everything that we've talked about? Like us, to be honest. Yeah, every time we pick a subject, it tends to be that, whether it's got a grain of truth in it or not, it's never as absolute as people would try and have you believe. So it's not always just one way or the highway, or my way or the highway. We've got to look at the grey areas. And unfortunately, the grey areas, the boring bit, is where most of us want to be. But if we're even challenged to get to the grey areas, that becomes quite boring, right? Because just sort of like 30 grams of fibre, that's too little. Now I've got to go up to 50 or 60. Or everybody's chasing this max. And then when they fail, they feel bad about it because they're not getting to that height every day. It's not working for them.
Yeah.
And then that often sets them back in their health journey rather than letting them move forwards.
So we hear a lot about how most adults have a massive fibre gap. and completely miss the daily targets. So we've just talked about how people are trying to up it every day. It's turning this crazy challenge. But what are the actual, and I know we've spoke on previous podcasts about recommended daily amounts, all that kind of stuff. But what should people be going for, knowing that, with the caveat, everybody's unique, but for men and women versus what people are trying to hit online? So before we answer that question, Mark, how much fibre do you think you get a day? Is it something that you track?
Not a clue.
Not a clue.
No, I didn't. I mean, I'm sold by most Instagram posts, to be honest with you. But yeah, in terms of...
we got marketeers.
Honestly,
get his algorithm.
Mark is like the perfect audience.
You've got the perfect subject here. So literally, but I do try and come at it with a balanced approach. And I have seen a lot about fibre. Or fibre being important of your diet, not so much about the fibre maxing thing, if you will. Fibre I know is important. What I try and do is try and eat a balanced diet, and try and make sure that I'm eating clean foods, but I haven't quite progressed that on to actually how much fibre's in that diet as yet. Yeah, so if I'm being honest, it's not something I'm actually...
That's a smart way to look at it, really, Mark, because one of the challenges that I often see with clients is that everybody these days wants to do everything perfectly in one go. And we also from that all or nothing mentality, right? As soon as people start changing and trying to do absolutes and trying to change everything in one go, there's always going to be one or two things that you don't do or you become inconsistent at. Then you start beating yourself up about it. And then for many people, that all or nothing mentality is just like, well, I've blown it up. I might as well just go back to the beginning, throw it all in the bin. Have a few weeks where I trash my diet and then start again a week or a month later. It's why sort of like, you have really hyper-focused diets are so popular. It's why things like New Year's resolutions are so popular. It's why so many people say, oh, I've mucked up on Tuesday, I'll start again next Monday. There's always that next day to start again. Whereas if you're actually saying to yourself, do you know what? I'm just bumbling my way through this and trying to improve incrementally. That is often much better for long-term behavior change.
I think it's overload as well. So I said in January this year, I'm going to eat clean. And for my version of that is that I'm going to eat as much non-processed food as possible. So I've got a pretty boring diet, but I enjoy it. So eggs in the morning, sourdough, all that sort of stuff that you would expect. Yogurts and berries and nuts every single day. Trying to get as much fish and as much veg in there as possible, but not overdoing it. But just the ethos is just to eat clean. I think where I fall down sometimes is where you look at the hype and you think, oh, right, okay, am I doing enough? I'm not doing enough. I need to measure it. How much am I going to have to do? And then it become quite a chore. Whereas if you start with an ethos, you kind of see how that goes, and that's kind of where that's where I'm at currently on the journey as such.
That's the best way to be.
I don't like turning nutrition into a maths calculation for people.
Yeah.
I think it's wrong. I think it sends the wrong signals. I think it sends the idea that if you are trying to hit certain specific targets that are so absolute every day, it's just a real challenge for people from a mental health point of view. And I think it actually contributes towards people's challenges with food long term.
The only people who should be doing that at that level are professional athletes who do it for a living.
Yeah, that's fair. That's
what I mean,
right?
Yeah. No, but that's what I mean. The only people who should be doing that, but the problem is a lot of this stuff that then trickles down is from that. It's like, right, this is what high performance is. This is what you need to do in your life, and then you set yourself standards at levels that are that's for professional athletes. It's like unless you are doing the Tour de France, you don't need to be doing that diet. So I just use that as an example. Yeah.
And the person that's doing the Tour de France isn't a dad and running a business. I'm sure they might be a dad, but being a dad and running a business and doing various other things you've got to do.
Yeah, you've got to do stuff that fits into real life.
Yeah, I'm going to bring this in. I'm going to bring this back in. Steph, fibre, how much do you think you get on a daily?
I don't know what I get on a daily basis. I just try to eat plenty of different fruit and veg and try to keep it quite varied. Lots of different colours, that kind of thing. But I couldn't actually tell you what 30, 40, 50 grams of fibre looked like. I was going to ask you.
Well, first off, James, two parts to the question. What is the recommended daily allowance for Mark and Steph? And then what does it look like if you were to just get fibre from your diet alone from food?
Okay, so recommended daily amount for all adults in the UK is 30 grams per day. In America, it's 25. It's a little bit less. 25, 30. The difference is not really that much. studies show in reality, most of us are probably getting 16 to 18 grams a day, maybe 20 at the top max. And I suppose when you're looking at it, if you said, I'm going to get paid £30 an hour to do a job, and somebody said, I'm actually going to pay you 18 instead, you'd be pretty pissed off at that, wouldn't you? Because you'd be short by 12 quid each day or each hour that you worked on your wage. And so why would you not look at fibre the same way? So maybe not looking at the absolute, but trying to get more into your diet. And I think the thing that people don't realise is that to get to 30 grams of fibre is actually quite hard. So just to give you an example of sort of thing. So if you had, let's say, a couple of slices of toast, an apple and a couple of Weetabix a day, most people would say, yeah, that's Weetabix, wheat. It's full of fibre, whole grain toast, full of fibre, an apple, fibrous. That's probably about 11, 12 grams of fibre in total. It's not really that much when you think about it. That's probably about, if you're even at that American lower end, you're only looking at about half of what you need there. And I think that is maybe why some of the supplementation has kicked in, or people looking for higher fibre foods to try and fill that gap. And maybe that's what's filtering down a little bit from these high performance Instagram biohackers that are trying to push the fibre envelope a bit more.
Do you know, fibre and creatine are two of the supplements that I actually supplement with because it is really hard to get the 30 grams of fibre out your diet alone, through food alone. So there's only like creatine and fibre are the two that absolutely religiously every day. Just to make sure I get it. Because fibre for gut health is like, I know we talk a lot about fermented food and drinks, but you could argue that fibre is more important than the kombucha in terms of gut health. Well,
everything plays a role in your gut health, right? Fibre, especially so, because of different types of fibre you can get. It is food for your microbiome.
Talk about those different types. I know we spoke about this before, soluble and insoluble fibre. What is the difference? What is the function in the gut, and what's the difference between them?
Yeah, so we tend to get fibre mainly from plant foods. It's not something we digest, so it tends to pass through your digestive tract pretty whole. There are two types. There's soluble fibre. Soluble fibre is a type of fibre that when it mixes with water or other liquids in the gut, forms like a gel. Mm-hmm. And that gel slows down your digestion. It helps balance your blood sugar levels a little bit. And then you've got insult. So that is kind of like the smooth passage through the digestive tract, if you like. Then you've got insoluble fibre. So insoluble fibre is stuff that you just don't digest at all, right? So it's things like the skins of fruits, it's nuts, seeds, those kind of things. What they tend to do is that insoluble fibre helps bulk out the stool. So it gives your stool more shape, and that helps with the transit. But what it effectively does is, because it's not solid and it's not a gel, because it's solid and it's not a gel, it acts almost like a broom. So as it comes through, it's sweeping all the crap out of your gut as well. And you need a balance of both of those things in your diet. So soluble tends to come more from things like legumes, beans, oats, that kind of stuff. The soluble stuff tends to come more from your nuts, seeds, the peels of fruits and things like that.
There we go. So before we move on to the second part of our podcast, where we put a number of claims to James to find out if it's true or not, you talked about, is too much fibre, so these people going to 50 grams, 60 grams a day, is that damaging to you? Can that hurt? Can that damage you?
So the biggest challenge, I guess, is people who will currently be on a relatively low fibre diet, but might think they're doing well, but they're not tracking it, so they're only getting 12, 15 grams a day, suddenly going, do you know what? I'm going to smash it straight up to 60 and getting some psyllium husk as a supplement or some chia seeds and smashing it up. And suddenly, your gut bacteria takes a bit of time to get used to increases in various foodstuffs. And you're pretty much turning yourself into a human explosive machine, potentially, when you up it that quickly.
Just internal combust.
Well, you can't internal...
I love how you had some that serious.
You would certainly
like
see...
we're just going to explode.
Yeah, you would certainly see more You'd certainly see more gas. You'd see more bloating.
Basically,
you would see more smells.
Yeah.
So you don't want to. You don't want to tell yourself into a thermonuclear reactor at a time when what you're trying to do is get your gut health to be at the optimum. Because once again, if you suddenly start eating tons and tons of fibre and you're farting for England, that is going to turn you off it. And it's also going to turn your family off it and your friends off it right? So you'll drop it. And then you run the risk of going back to low fibre again. So I would say if you are going to try and experiment with this kind of stuff, please don't just go from listening to this podcast or watching an influencer on Instagram and saying, right, I'm going to smash 60 grams.
Taken.
Because it's a sensitive area, and the more stuff you pile into it, the more difficult it can be.
Yeah, and there we go. Okay, so what we're saying is don't go from 0 to 60 in a day.
Yeah, most people's first step, try and get up to around the 30 at least. And again, you don't have to be absolute, but you just have to have it in the back of your mind about
common sense.
What things include.
How do you know you get into 30? So, like, give you an example, to use me as the experiment. So I had 2 eggs for breakfast on some sourdough with some avocado.
Okay.
And I had
how much sourdough was it?
2 slices of sourdough, half an avocado.
Yeah. Okay.
Greek yogurt, blueberries, handful of walnuts.
That's not for breakfast as well, is it?
No, I have that about 11 o'clock.
Yeah.
And then
a
couple of chicken thighs with bits of broccoli for lunch.
Yeah.
And then for tea.
Lunch? Onesies.
I eat.
This sounds like that scene from Lord of the Rings. What about livingsies?
Yeah, you call me a hobbit.
Onesies.
So then
it's too hot for onesies.
And then I suppose so chicken. How do I know basically at the end of that if I've got enough fibre in? So that's at the end of the day I might have some pasta.
Yeah. So assuming the pasta is wholemeal, right? I mean, it sounds to me as though you're doing a pretty good job there from a starting point.
Yeah.
And like I said, you don't want to be absolute. You just need to be mindful of the fact that you need to have fibre with every meal in some way, shape, or form. Yeah. So one of the things that is probably the biggest challenge is that people have become very anti all the starchy carbohydrates. So things like bread, pasta, rice, that kind of stuff. And you're getting a lot of fibre there. What I'd say is your lunch is probably a little bit light. So, a couple of chicken breasts and a bit of broccoli. It's kind of like bodybuilding food rather than sort of like gut health food. So, maybe sticking a big salad in there, sprinkling some nuts and seeds over the salad might help you increase it. Yeah. You could, when you do your Greek yogurt, you could throw a little bit of flaxseed on top of it. So ground flaxseed would help increase it there. You could also throw some chia seeds on it. Chia seeds are really, really good from a fibre perspective. Stick a spoonful of chia seeds in a glass of water. That will turn into like a jelly type water within a few minutes. Just drink that. So that's the kind of thing that can just increase it a little bit. Yeah.
Okay. I think just on what James was saying there, so obviously James doesn't do any endorsements, but as a tip is, so you may have seen Join Zoe, they do that 30 plant and veg and herbs things powder, and it's like 30-40 quid. Waitrose and Marks and Spencer's now do the same thing, and it's like 6 quid, and it lasts you for a month. And you just take a spoonful, and it has everything that James just said there, and put that on your Greek yogurt. You'll be increasing it, because that's what I've got, and I just boom on everything. It's amazing.
But really, the 30 fruit and veg or 30 plant foods a week is another good way of looking at it as well. So you're absolutely right, where you're going for different colours, you're going for different types, you're doing a mixture of fruit and vegetables. One of the areas that we could all probably benefit from a little bit is more sort of like legumes, beans, that kind of stuff, things like lentils, really, really high in fibre, both types, so they kind of help all over the place. So that is probably for you, I would say, if you're going to do anything, add a bit more plant matter in there somewhere, or a mix like Kev was just saying that you can just bung on top of your Greek yogurt and will help.
If you time per. Cool. Right. Section 2. Here we go. Right. The TikTok algorithm, as you've said, has turned fibre into competitive sport.
Yeah.
With people gamifying their meals to hit massive numbers. So I've got 3 claims here that I have sourced.
Yeah.
I'm going to put them to you, and let's just see if it's hype or real. So, claim 1, and this is a big one and very timely. So the biggest claim you see is Fibre Maxing is a digestive hack that mimics weight loss drugs by triggering ultimate, how do you pronounce that word? Satiety?
Satiety.
That's it, thank you. And stopping hunger dead in its tracks. Yes.
So
basically, this is Ozempic.
Yeah, so GLP-1 medications are targeted to work very, very specifically on certain gut hormones that will help keep you full, right? So the truth is that fiber also can work on those, as can other things, as in regular exercise, sleep, de-stressing. There's lots of things that can help work on this. Can fiber on its own mimic Ozempic? Probably not. Yeah. But does it contribute towards GLP-1 production that help keep you fuller? Absolutely. It's the reason why if you have a sandwich on wholemeal bread and a sandwich on white bread, because the wholemeal bread's got more fibre in it, you'll stay fuller for longer if you have it.
So that's what it's doing, isn't it? It just makes you feel fuller.
Doing, yeah. So, and again, it's this idea of absolute claims. Why does it have to be the natural as Ozempic? Why do we have to give it that sort of like title?
That's how you sell it. That's marketing, isn't it?
Well, it's marketing, but is it truthful marketing?
Would you see natural Ozempic and think, right, that's it?
He doesn't need to lose weight. Look at him.
I know he doesn't need to lose weight.
No, I am. I mean, as much as I'm sold by them, I can scroll them, I can see them, but I try and make a bit of an informed decision. But I think for me, it's more about where it fits in with my life. So, there's some great things out there, and there's one actually I have actually seen, and this is one thing I have been sold by, and I haven't tried it yet, but it's specifically seen on Instagram. It's called Myota. And I don't know whether you know of the brand or what it is, but ultimately they've made various claims about improving your digestive system using Myota.
Go on, tell us about it.
Well, again, it's about getting fibre into your diet. So and Myota, so it's similar to what you discussed, the Zoe and various other things, but it's putting that in and having that on a morning.
Everybody's algorithm is going to be screwed after this, by the
way. Yeah. So, I mean, there's that one, which is, and then there's also something that I've never actually taken, but friends of mine are taking. So this is kind of an influencer thing, but also friends that have advised, and that is probiotics. And I know that you guys have talked about that before, but does that help with gut health and everything else? So they're the ones that I suppose, taking notice of.
You take Heights probiotic, don't you?
I don't take the Heights probiotic, no. So I take creatine and salts on a morning.
Yeah.
And then I have the actual standard Heights multivitamin.
Yeah.
I have those. And then I have coffee with some collagen in it, and then I have magnesium on a night. So I've got a bit of a stack.
Yeah.
If you will.
Yeah.
And I try and eat as clean as possible. But that's kind of that's as simple as I've got it at the minute.
That's good.
And the truth, it doesn't need to be that complicated.
Yeah.
I mean, not that yours is complicated, but you don't need to be much more complicated than that. I would say from a supplement point of view. And there's loads of ways to get, people talk about supplementing psyllium husk, which, by the way, when it comes to the cost ratio you talked about before, is cheap as chips if you get it from a health food shop or something like that. Get one of those packs or two of those packs of mixed seeds from any supermarket. The ones that got pumpkin seeds in and linseeds and all that kind of stuff. Mix a couple of spoonfuls of psyllium husk in some water and then mix that all together. So your seeds, your psyllium husk and your water, and it forms like a dough. Turn your oven on low, spread that out on a piece of grease-proof paper and stick it in the oven for an hour and a half until it dries out. And you get these most amazing crackers that you can dip in hummus and stuff like that. And it's an absolute fibre godsend for increasing your fibre in a really healthy, cheap as chips way that is not seeing you spend a ton of money on a subscription to some health company that has dressed it up in an X, Y, or Z way. And it's just such a simple hack to do without having to go to all that trouble or all that expense.
That is a great tip. I'm going to do that.
I need
tomorrow.
Yeah.
Well,
try
listen.
That one.
Yeah. 23 minutes in, guys. Right, we've got to move on. We've got like 7 minutes left of the podcast. I've only had claim one.
Just quickly going back to the Ozempic.
Mark's speaking like last time Mark's on.
The Ozempic claim.
10 minutes.
If the Ozempic claim was true, they would be prescribing porridge for weight management, right, rather than injections. Yeah.
Amazing. Right, claim 2. Here we go. piling on extreme amounts of fibre, upwards of 50 grams or more a day, will automatically supercharge your gut microbiome and fix metabolic issues?
Well, it will help, providing that you aren't doing the 0 to 0 in 5 seconds thing we talked about before. Your gut microbiome actually prefers diversity over quantity, which is why the 30 plant foods is such a good recommendation. When anybody think about 30 plant foods, you've got to think that things like herbs and spices fit into that as well over the course of a week. So, you only have to have something that is like spiced in an Asian way, whether it be a curry or something else, and you're already ramping things up quite significantly. And so I would always go for variety over quantity as much as anything else. 30 different plant foods, as many different colours as you can, and then go as much of it as you can as your third thing.
So you're hitting it, Steph.
Yeah.
Some weeks.
Yeah, you're doing it. You're on the right track.
You're not hitting it today yet.
You don't need to be perfect. So you have 25 one week, or you hit 5 colours instead of 7 colours.
Do you actually count them?
I did go through a stage of counting them. Yeah, but especially when I started, because that was a way of making sure I was buying the right things, because I wasn't getting enough stuff in to do it to start with. And then it was like introducing different fruits and veg each week, depending on what was in season. But now, because I've been doing it for a while, I don't really need to count them now.
It's just natural. It's formed part of your diet, hasn't it?
Yeah, I've sort of changed what I eat a bit to make sure that there's some meals in there where there's loads of different things thrown in.
Yeah. When you go to the grocers or the supermarket or wherever, you're looking around the fruit and veg aisle, rightly or wrongly, we get tons of stuff that previously would have been out of season, right? So there's a myriad of coloured different fruit and veg from around the world there. Pick something you've never had before. Yeah, and just give it a go and see what it's like. You might hate it, but equally you might discover something new. You might find a new colour, you might find a new fruit, a new vegetable, something else to add, and it makes it more adventurous, because most of us, as Mark was saying before, we tend to fall into a really sort of like regimented way of eating, right? You remember Homer on the Simpsons used to talk about Taco Tuesday. Yeah. So you want to vary things as much as you can, do stuff on different days, different nights.
I just remember that. I just remember that meme on social media. The bodybuilder, and the BBC interviewed him, and he goes, "Right, what are you having for breakfast?" "Right, 2 white fish fillets at the bag and a rice cake." And then it's like, okay. And then they filmed him, like they filmed him for the day, and then they filmed him and said, "Right, what are you having for lunch?" 2 fish fillets and a rice cake. He's like, just filming him. "Right, what are you having for dinner?" 2 fish fillets. They just recorded it, and they broadcast that. As brilliant. Just on this as well, they did there's been that recent sort of like study that they did where they had a control group where they took a McDonald's Big Mac meal. Have you seen this?
No.
So there was 2 groups. They had McDonald's Big Mac meals. And what they did is they injected I say inject, they would have done something differently, but they put more fibre in one of the meals and give that to a group, and then they just give another group the normal Big Mac, and then it was to monitor how much fuller you felt for long
with extra fibre.
Yeah, and that's the thing with junk food. There's no fibre in it.
Yeah.
And that was the key. And it was like, and it just said that if you injected, or I don't know, the fibre into the junk food, it's like, it was infinitely better.
Yeah. Just for our lawyers, by the way, we're not saying that McDonald's is junk food.
I am.
I think we are.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah. I think everybody knows that, right? I used to work at McDonald's. I know what goes in it.
Pizza Hut was my poison when I was.
Yeah, I've done McDonald's. I've done Burger King. Burger King, man, it is genuinely flame grilled. It's not fried like McDonald's, but anyway.
On a
No, it's this barbecue. It goes on a conveyor belt and it goes across. It's unbelievable. Right. Last one. Oh, man, I remember. Oh, no, I will get sued for this one. But it was 25 years ago, so it doesn't matter. But claim 3, 25, 26, 27. Claim 3, last one. It completely, so Fibre Maxing and fibre, it will completely regulate your blood sugar and lower your cholesterol levels, acting as a shield against chronic diseases.
So again, it's not the concept that I take umbrage with so much, it's the absoluteness of the concept. Fibre is good, it helps, it supports. It's not the magic wand that is suddenly going to balance all your blood sugar out, but certainly in conjunction with, making sure that you've got fibre in your diet, making sure you've got protein in your diet, making sure you've got good fats in your diet, all those kind of things will help.
It's a diversity that you've been talking about, isn't it?
It's a diversity and kind of knowing what's on a plate. And I think we might have talked about this in the past, but I talk to clients about using your hand as a guide for what's on your plate. So you want to start off with kind of like your basic meal should be a palmful of protein, a cupped hand of starchy carbs. So when you cup your hand, that little ball in the middle there, a fistful of vegetables and a thumb full of fats. If you're eyeballing foods in those amounts on your plate, you're probably hitting a pretty balanced diet. And why your hand? Well, if you're a 5'1" woman or a 6 foot man, your hand, hopefully for most of us, is in proportion to the rest of our body. And so the bigger you are, the more you weigh, the more calories you're going to need, the more you're going to get on your plate if you gauge it with your hand rather than your friend who is 5'1". And that's a really good starting point. And then working multiples of that. Try that for a week or so. If you're still feeling hungry, then start increasing things, increase the protein, increase the colourful veg first.
Yeah, good. Right, we're running out of time for this. So we're going to do this third part really quickly.
Yeah.
3 questions. Anybody, and if you guys have got a question for James, jump in. And let's do it. Okay, so we're going to, let's quick fire these answers because I think we've covered quite a bit of it before. So first one. Is trying to dramatically increase fibre a good move for the average person who eats a standard modern diet?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's it. Great. Well, yeah.
I mean, yes, yeah.
That was short. No, let's go. Yeah.
Standard modern diet, for most of us, it's crap. So, yeah. 100%. Yeah.
Well, it's been proven, isn't it? It's
Yeah.
like 80% of the average diet in the UK consists of ultra-processed foods.
Yeah.
So,
So yes, 100%.
So, Mark, your diet is like good. Just needs to up some stuff.
Just needs up some fibre.
Yeah. Okay. Here we go. Second question. Who should absolutely not follow this trend? So I'll give us some example. What happens if someone with IBS or chronic gut inflammation tries to max out their intake?
If you've got any medical gut challenges, I would only try this under the supervision of a qualified nutritionist or dietitian.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Someone like yourself.
Well, yeah, like myself. Yeah.
Like you don't need to go to like the doctors or anything like that. You could go. You
need to have somebody who knows what they're talking about rather than just going and doing it off your own bat, because you're likely challenged by your gut anyway to have those conditions. And as we spoke about before, if you bung loads of fibre in, that is going to add some extra challenges to it. So why would you potentially do something that might exacerbate an already volatile situation by throwing in excessive fibre that might actually be a challenge for?
Yeah. Makes sense.
Yeah. So just talk to somebody who knows what they're talking about.
Yeah. Okay. So not Instagram.
Not Instagram, and not somebody who's got a.
What about ChatGPT?
No.
It's
not personalised enough.
Yeah, I agree. Okay, so last question from me, and then we'll see if Steph and Mark's got a question for you. Right, last one. Is there a big nutritional difference between getting your fibre from a diverse plate of 30 different plants a week, like Steph does, versus just slamming a couple of tablespoons of synthetic fibre powder like I do?
Yeah. So first of all,
which is what I do. Yeah.
I try not to go for synthetic fibre powder. Look for something that is natural, like psyllium husk, which has actually got a lot of research behind it.
I don't actually use synthetic. I use chicory and stuff.
Yeah. So something that is natural and kind of acts as a supplement is worthwhile doing. I think it's worth always noting that by adding plant diversity into your diet, it's much more than about fibre, right? It's about vitamins, it's about minerals, it's about nutrients. Obviously, the more colour you get, the more different ranges of antioxidants that you get that can help with your health long term. So I'd say that the variety of food is more important. But if you feel as though you're having a wide range of different fruit and vegetables, and you feel as though you want to supplement with something, then supplement again. We've said this before many, many times. The key is in the word. It's supplementary to what you would normally eat. Yeah, so it's not a replacement or shouldn't be your go-to. go-to thing. It's the same with everything else as well. You do the same with protein. You know, if you're trying to eat more protein and you're getting as much as you can as you feel you can eat, there's nothing wrong with a really good quality protein shake to back that up. There's probably something wrong with a really low quality one that's full of sort of like sucralose and stuff like that.
95% on the market.
Yeah, but if you get a really good recommended one that is high quality, there's absolutely nothing wrong with it. It's the same with fibre supplementation as well.
Yeah. Cool. Mark, got a question?
If you had a fibre superfood, so other than chia seeds and things that you can put on top of things, is there one vegetable or one piece of food or fruit
that's a good
that you would
question. That is a very,
that
very
I could
good
implement
question.
in my diet and say, that's going to help me. Straight to my mind comes sweet potato, but I don't know whether that's true or whether I've just followed another Instagram post.
So, I mean, yes, good, but any more than a normal potato? Not necessarily. Yeah. If I were to advocate anything to anybody, it's stop peeling stuff.
Okay.
Yeah. Leave the peel on.
Even sweet potato?
Where you can. Yeah, just scrub it.
Yeah. Because I do it I do it on most things, but sweet potato, have I left it on the, of course I have. Yeah, I do, skin on fry, sweet potato homemade. Yeah, of course I do. Yeah. I leave everything on.
Yeah, loads of vitamins and minerals.
What about
kiwi?
What about kiwi fruit? Because that's the one that I've always been a bit like, this feels a bit chewy. I don't feel like this is natural.
My daughter eats the outside of kiwi fruit. Yeah.
What is the benefit
and she
of that?
quite likes it. It's insoluble fibre.
Is it? Is that what it is? Okay, cool.
Yeah.
So there is a benefit to it.
There's a benefit to it. There's obviously a taste texture thing going on, right? You know, if the skin is so hard,
it's hairy
that you can't chew
it. It's hairy in your mouth. It's like I'm eating a spider.
Yeah.
Do you know what you could do? I've just had an idea there, like one of your recipes, but I'm pointing at James there. You couldn't see it off because it's audio, but like chop a kiwi, scoop it out, and then eat the kiwi, and then use the kiwi skin to scoop up some of the stuff, and then
scoop up some what stuff?
I don't know, just some of the good stuff. Chia seeds.
I'm not sure that'll be making the next book, but you never know.
Use the kiwi skin to scoop out the sweet potato.
Yeah, exactly. When I could just eat the kiwi with the skin on. I don't know what I'm thinking. No. I just saw this thing because it is quite tough and rubbery.
It's tough.
It's not for people with dentures.
Yeah, you've got to think about things as well, like, what's the mouth feel like in your mouth, right? Does it look good? You know, does a hairy kiwi fruit seem appealing when you look at it and want to eat it? Probably not.
No. How does she eat it? Does she just eat it like a Cadbury's cream egg? Like just take that?
She will cut off the very hard nubbin at the top where it attaches to the plant.
That's it, and then just go in.
And she will just go in like that.
What about eggshells? What about eggs? Like if you hard boil it?
I wouldn't eat an eggshell, no.
Yeah, I wouldn't either. There's nothing in that, is there? Because that's like...
I think it might be calcium.
I'm taking us down a rabbit hole. It's just that.
I haven't got a question other than can we have the recipe for that, for those crackers? Because that's...
Yeah, absolutely.
Sounded good, didn't it?
Yeah. I mean, so just for clarity, it's not mine. It's one that I've inherited from a couple of years. I can't remember which one it was. But I use it with a lot of my clients. And I'm quite happy to share it in the show notes for people to use because it's good. It's an easy one to do. Yeah.
Okay. Here we go. We're at the part of the show where we do the hype check. So it's time to roast it.
Yeah.
Is it legit? How should we be doing it? So I think what I've got is fibre good, Fibre Maxing.
Fibre Maxing, potentially interesting, life-saving, life-altering. I'm not convinced. Yeah. So there's nothing wrong with getting more fibre. I would sort of like be very, very cautious about trying to sort of like do this race to, like I said at the beginning, top trumpsing people by trying to get to 50, 60 grams because A, how do you know it? B, is it too much? C, is it going to cause you problems if you do it too quick? And D, who wants to sit there counting this kind of shit all the time? I certainly don't. And I'm working nutrition.
Yeah, but do you know what? You're probably the one person that I thought would because you're also an ultra runner. And you do some but in saying that, but do you know what I mean? It's like, it goes back to what I was saying before. It's like when you go to a level.
That's competition though. So
that's what I mean.
Yeah,
exactly.
Yeah. And
do you, when you're in, like when you know you've got that one of your 160 mile runs, do you approach, take a different approach to your diet?
So, sometimes, because some of it will depend on what's available on the course as well. But I certainly don't increase a load of fibre before long.
No, but because
you do not want to be doing that. I mean, your gut's challenged enough as it is.
Yeah.
So you don't want to be starting out powering yourself with wind on the way around. Yeah, that's a recipe for disaster.
Could speed you up. Or not. Right. Just one thing on this. So what we're saying is fibre, yes, good. Most people don't have enough in the diet, so they should be increasing it. This gamification of Fibre Maxing, probably not the way to go. Just one thing that we spoke about off when we were looking at doing the research and putting the notes together for the podcast. Mark has got to jump. Mark, thank you very much.
No problem.
Boom,
Cheers,
take
Mark.
mic off.
Yeah, appreciate it.
Thank you very much. That was awesome. I tell you what, Mark's been on a big journey of health, wellness, fitness, doing the strength training, the cardio, the diet changes. It's looking good.
Good for him.
Looking good for it. So just one last thing on this hydration.
Yeah.
So
the more fibre you have, the more you've got to drink.
Correct.
Yeah, more water. You need to drink.
Water. I saw your eyes light up there, Steph. Water.
Yeah.
And there we go. And then just a bigger picture. And I think we've covered this. It's like, and we talk about this with any supplement, I think, and the way we've positioned it in the notes is, like you can, and it goes back to Fibre Max, and it's like, it doesn't matter how much fibre in the world you have, it won't save you if your protein intake is dangerously low or your overall diet is still built on ultra-processed junk. It's not like this. You need that balance, don't you?
You need to get the basics right. And if you're not eating adequate amounts of protein, if you're not eating adequate amount of good fats, if you're not moving, if you're not sleeping well, if you're stressed to heck, fix all that stuff first before you start looking to go up to 50 grams of fibre, because until you've got the basics, what's the point of optimizing? In sport, people talk a lot about marginal gains, right? What is that thing that can give you that extra 0.3% that's going to give you 0.3% at the finish, which can be in a race a big distance and the difference between first and second. 0.3% change, if the rest of your body is not working at optimum, gives you nothing. Yeah. You'll get much more benefit from working on the basics first.
Does 50 grams give you any benefit above the 30 grams that you said would most adults need?
I would say if everything else is off, no.
No.
Yeah.
If everything else is on, is there gain in that 20 grams?
Jury's out, I'd say.
Okay, cool. That's interesting. Yeah. Okay, so bottom line, boosting your plant and fibre intake is a great health move, but treat it as a lifestyle shift, not a viral game to be maxed out. So, like we've just said, if you dump a mountain of powder onto a bad diet without any water, your gut is going to pay the price. James, as always.
Thanks ever so much.
Yeah, thanks for keeping our digestion grounded. Stay informed, everyone. Steph, thanks for being an awesome guest.
Thanks.
Steph.
And there you go. And we'll see you on the next Health Hype Roast.
Yeah, Steph, you need to come back and let's talk ultra running on.
Let's do that.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Let's do an ultra.
Although I don't really do that much these days, but
It doesn't matter.
You've got the experience.
Yeah, we should do that.
Yeah.
I'd be interested because a big thing that I want to push is like ultra runners, but anybody who does like triathlons or any endurance style activity, like I say, definitely at a competitive level, like you guys do, the guts are an absolute mess. So let's talk about that. We should do a show now. Are you up for that, Steph?
perhaps, yeah.
That's it. She said that before she came on here. She said she wouldn't be mic'd up, and she said she definitely wouldn't talk.
Yeah.
As soon as you're in there, like a podcaster.
She's like our go-to guest now.
I know.
Her agent's going to be getting in touch.
Oh, my God, yeah. Don't price this. Hey, don't put ideas in people's heads, James. I'm telling you. Right, Steph, thank you very much.
Thank you.
James, as always.
Sip the truth, spit the hype, light the fuse and make it toast. We're calling out the nonsense on the Health Hype Roast. Roast it, toast it, if it's rubbish we expose it. Gut gang riding, booch bottles coasting. Welcome to the Health Hype Roast, kid, where your wellness gets slow cooked Everyone's just detox teas, everyone's a wellness ghost. But we don't buy the nonsense on the health hype roast. Facts over fads, mate, we're serving up the truth the most. Pull up a chair and sip along, we're raising gut health toast. Roast it, toast it, if it's rubbish we expose it. Gut gang riding, boots, bottles coasting. Welcome to the health hype roast, kid, where your wellness gets slow cooked in motion. From Mr. Miracle Cures, every claim gets diagnosed. We slice through all the bull on the health hype roast. So bring your trends and TikTok hacks, we'll serve them hot, not toast. If it ain't real, it's getting grilled, consider that hype ghosted. Roast it, toast it, if it's rubbish we